Hello everyone, very good morning and welcome to Study Online and welcome to software testing course. Today happens to be the day 4 of software testing demo class, and let me just do one thing. Let me just share you the screen. I hope you people are able to see the screen. And one more thing, if you're able to hear my voice and if you're able to see the screen, please do respond by saying yes in the chat box. Okay, great. Now what I'll do, I would like to open the notes. Okay, day 1, day 2, day 3 you have seen, and I have just told the admission details also in the yesterday's session. Today what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new text file. A new text file name happens to be day 4. I will tell. Before me considering the concept of day 4, please do observe properly in whatever the content that I have taught in day 3. Don't you think in day 3 I have started off with software development lifecycle? That means SDLC is what I have started. That means different procedures that are followed to develop the software is called as what? SDLC. Under SDLC, how many phases will come? Very good. There are 7 phases that will come under SDLC. First one, requirement elicitation and analysis. Who will give the requirement? Customer will give the requirement. Who will elicitate? Business analyst will elicitate. Next, who will do the analysis? Business analyst will do the analysis. Based upon what factor? Very good. Based upon 3 factor. First one happens to be what? Whether the requirement is complete or not. Second one, whether the requirement is consistent or not. The last one happens to be whether the requirement is having any ambiguity or not. Next, feasibility study. Sir, what is feasible, sir? Feasible means what? Possible or not. That's it. Feasible, possible. To develop the software, whether it is possible from that company or not, is what they're going to confirm by doing the feasibility study. And I hope you people are clearly aware of which people will be there in feasibility study. And first of all, they look at the what? 3 things. First one, finance. Second one, resource. The last one is what? Finance, resource. Afterwards, whether the technology is there in their company to develop that software or not, to test that software or not. Simply if you agree, and if you don't have any automation engineer, that is automation test engineer in your company, and ultimately it is a useless software. Error software is what you're going to develop. That's the reason if you have a proper technology equipped people, then easily you can just develop the software. Afterwards, design. When it comes to design, there are 2 categories. Sir, which are those 2 categories, sir? First one happens to be high level model. Second one happens to be, sorry, high level design. Second one, low level design. And you people are clearly aware of how does the high level design will look like and how does the low level design will look like. And next, coding, testing, installation, maintenance. I hope I have not told testing, installation, maintenance. All the 7 phases, whatever you have seen in SDLC, is a part of waterfall model. Is a part of what? Waterfall model. Next, please do observe properly. After waterfall, spiral, prototype, V&V, agile, all those things will come. First heading, whatever I have told, happens to what? Waterfall model. Let me just highlight this. Yeah, waterfall model. Just give me a minute. It's not taking. Okay, cool, no issues. Okay, next. I think the yesterday's notes you have updated. Guys, please tell me whether I have given the uh, drive link for notes. And in that particular notes, you'll be able to see the what diagrams also. Have I given or not? Please do respond whether I have given the notes or not. That's it. Yes or no? Yes, if it is no, please do let me know. Now only I'll just create and now only I'll just give you that. That's the reason I'm asking. Okay, I think I have given that. If you didn't receive any link, okay. Uh, just a minute. Uh, I think in WhatsApp I have not sent. Uh, in Telegram channel I have sent. Don't worry. By the end of this session, I'll be sending you the link in WhatsApp. Save that link. Will that be fine? Guys, please do respond. Will that be fine? Okay. If you want, you can just check it out here. See here, this is what the link that I have given. Study online software testing, February 2022 morning batch is what the folder that I have created. Inside that, there are two files. Sorry, there are two folders. One file is their admission details. Maybe if you want, you can just click on that and you'll just see the details of the admission. All those things is what you will see. Next, please do observe when it comes to notes. See here, day 1, day 2, day 3 notes is there. Next, when it comes to diagrams also, if you want in between the class, take the screenshot. Better to take the screenshot. If not, see here diagram number 1, 2, 3. Sir, on what basis we have to see, sir? 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. That means 1, 2, 3. The order only it is there. Next, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. Next, 0, 1, 0, 2, like this. Don't you think? I have given you the proper notes and I have given you the proper diagram. Right now, it is up to you whether you're going to write the proper notes or not. Please don't expect me to come to your home and write the notes and come back to my home. No, all those things are not possible. You are the one who is going to write your notes. Is that fine? Okay, next. Observe properly, guys. Feasibility you have learned, design also I have learned, coding also I have learned. Now tell me, coding will be done by whom? Developers. Sir, how these developers will be doing the coding, sir? Developers by seeing this design. That means it might be high level design, it might be low level design. Many of the times by seeing the low level design, they'll just develop the code. If they're getting confused, they will refer the high level design, whatever done by architect. Okay, now what I'll do, guys, let me just go back to the whiteboard. In this whiteboard, till now in waterfall model, how many phases you have learned? Please do respond in the chat box. How many phases you have learned? Manoj, uh, Srinivas, those who haven't got the link, Rakshita and Josna, please do ping me in a WhatsApp saying that, sir, I want a link. I'll just send you that. Will that be fine? If I forget, please do that. Okay, great. 4 phases is what I have explained. Could you people please tell me which is the first phase? Which is the first phase? Guys, I know it looks very silly. Sir, what, sir? All this child and all, like requirement, analysis, and elicitation. Whether we have to type, sir? Type. Why? Because it will be there in your mind for a longer duration. That's the reason. Okay, very good. First phase that happens to be requirement, elicitation, and analysis. Okay, now tell me, who is responsible to do this requirement, elicitation, and analysis? Let's please do respond. Who is responsible for this? Yeah, requirement salutation also you can call, no issues. Very good. Don't you think? Business analyst. Shall I write BA so that you'll understand? BA is responsible. BA and who will give the requirement? That's also very important. Please tell me who will give the requirement. Very good. Customer will give the requirement. Customer should provide the requirement and BA will collect the requirement. Afterwards, please think and answer. First, when the customer gives the requirement, then the document is called as CRS. From CRS, it will be converted to SRS. By whom? If you ask me, by whom? Business analyst. Okay, while converting CRS to SRS, as a business analyst, he will see 3 factors. Okay, sir, which are those 3 factors, sir? You tell me which are those 3 factors. First one, whether the requirement is complete or not. Second point, whether the requirement is consistent or not. Next, whether the requirement is having any ambiguity. Whether the requirement is having any ambiguity or not is what he is going to check. Correct, right? Now, please do observe. These 3 things are very important. After the first phase, could people please tell me what is the second phase? What is the second phase? I think easily you can tell. Very good, very good. Feasibility study, or I can just tell feasibility. I will tell. Second happens to be, I can just tell feasibility. Okay. Now tell me, when it comes to feasibility, three things is what they will check. Three things is what they will check. Okay, sir. Which are those three things, sir? You tell me first one, or else three category of peoples are involved. Who are those people? Three category of people. Finance people. Next, second one, resources people, head of resources, head of finance, and head of technology department. Is that fine? If these three things are fine in their company, okay, they have proper finance support, they have proper resources support, they have proper technology support. If everything is going in a smooth manner, they will tell yes, we will develop the software. After feasibility, what is the next phase? Very good. Only thing, the next phase happens to be design phase. The next phase happens to be design phase. I'll just tell this happens to be design phase. Okay, now tell me, when it comes to design phase, how many designs are there? How many designs are there? Oh, very good. Don't you think there are two types of design? First one happens to be high level design, high level design. Second one happens to be low level design, low level design. And now tell me, high level design will be generally done by whom? High level design will be generally done by what? Architect. Next, low level design will be generally done by whom? Very good. Senior developer, senior developer. Is that clear? I hope everybody are able to understand the points, whatever I'm trying to write. Okay, next. After design, what is the next one? After design, what is the next one? Very good. After design, the next phase happens to be coding part. Coding part. I'll just say this happens to be the coding part. Coding. Okay. After coding, what is the next phase? I think you people are clearly aware of that, but because all the 7 phases I have listed on. After coding, which is the next phase? Very good. Don't you think the next phase happens to be testing phase? Testing phase. After testing, which is the next phase? Very good. Installation phase. Installation phase. After installation, what is the last phase? How could people remember and tell me what is the last phase? After installation, maintenance. Maintenance phase. That's also very, very important. Now, please tell me, if coding is done by some category of people, then what we have to call them? If coding is done by some category of people, what we have to call them? Very good. Don't you think we have to call them developers? We have to call them developers. Next, please tell me, if testing is done by some of the category of people, what we have to call? Very good. Test engineers. Test engineers is what we have to call them. Let me just reduce the font size. Okay. Okay. If somebody is doing installation work, what we have to call them? Somebody is doing installation work. Yes, there is a name given for that. I'll just tell installation engineers. Installation engineers. And if somebody is doing the maintenance work, we have to just call them what? Maintenance engineers. Maintenance engineers. Is that fine? Next, if you people are able to understand this 7 phase, I think easily can explain waterfall model for about minimum 20 minutes in the interview. Is that fine, guys? I mean, if you're attending what testing interview, and if they're asking what do you know about manual testing and what do you know about waterfall model, minimum you should take 20 minutes to explain. And when it comes to testing, there are two category of testing. First one that happens to be manual testing. Manual testing. Second one that happens to be automation testing. Automation testing. And it's not compulsory that you have to use Selenium. Why they are using Selenium? Why? Because there are so many features of Selenium. I'll explain that. But right now, how many of them are able to understand this particular waterfall model? I hope now you understood why it is waterfall model. Sir, why, sir? If you pour a water here, don't you think it will come like this? That means water will be flowing in this direction only. After first step only, next second step, assume that there are 7 rocks. There are 7 rocks in this position. If you pour water here, don't you think after approaching first rock, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth, next one, correct, right? Like this only the water will come. That is the reason this particular diagram or the structure will look like waterfall. That is the reason they have kept the name called as waterfall model. Okay, sir, who kept the name? That means who is the father of waterfall model? All those things I will tell. I'll just show his photo also. The name of the person happens to be Winston W. Royce. He is the person on who invented the waterfall model. If you want the image of that person, 100%, I'm going to show you the image. Before that, okay, here on the I will write so that better you will remember. I'll just do one thing. I'll just write his name. What is the name? I'll just tell Winston. Why it is not coming? Winston W. Royce. As nobody in the interview, they'll be asking who invented waterfall model and all. But for your reference, you can just write down this. And one more thing, please do observe properly. There is one more name for waterfall model. Anybody in the class? Maybe some of the test engineers are attending the class. That's the reason I'm asking. There is one more name for this waterfall model. What is that? Yes, there is one more name. I'm only telling there is one more name for this waterfall model. What is the name? Think and answer if you're aware of that. Okay, sorry, I was in mute. Sorry for that. Why waterfall model is also called as data driven model, if you ask me. If the data comes, then only the requirement elicitation can be performed. If the data comes, then only feasibility can be performed. If the data comes, design. If the data comes, coding. After coding, testing, installation, maintenance. That means if the data goes from one phase to another phase, then only waterfall model is success. That's the reason it is called as what? Data driven model. Is that clear for everyone? Please do respond. I'll just do one thing. Just take the screenshot of this diagram number one. I think only one diagram for today's session. That's the reason. Take the screenshot. Okay, if you would have taken the screenshot, let me just do one thing. Let me just share you the notes. Okay, in these notes, what I'll do. Okay, next phase. What is the next phase, guys? After coding, what is the next phase? You people should tell me. After coding, what is the next phase? Very good. Only thing after coding, you have to learn a phase called as what? Testing. Correct, right? Now what I'll do, I'm going to highlight the phase. Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, observe properly. When it comes to testing, you can just tell what is testing, guys. Now, please tell me. I think this is the first time that I'm asking the question. What is testing? I think already I have given that. I don't know. What is testing? What is testing? That's it. A simple question is what I have asked. What do you mean by testing? In the interview, if they're asking, what kind of answer you will give? Guys, it's pretty simple. You only observe what I will type. It's the process. It's the process of checking. It's the process of checking. It's the process of checking. I think here only I'm writing. I have not created a new file. Let me just cut it. I'll just do one thing. I'll just create a new file here. I'll paste later. I'll just save this file. It's the process of checking. It's the process of checking whether the software whether the software meets customer requirement or not. Whether the software meets customer requirement or not. I'll do one thing. I'll type there only. Later I will paste it. Why? Because suggestion will be showing for me. It's a process of checking whether the software meets customer or client requirement or not. See here, it's a process of checking whether it meets customer or client requirement or not. Client requirements or not. Next, please observe properly. This happens to be the first definition. Okay, sir, is there any other definition, sir? 100% there is one more definition like this. If you want, I can just give you 10 definitions for testing. It's not a very big deal. Now, see here, I can just tell it's a process of checking. It's a process of checking error in the software. It's a process of checking error in the software. Is that fine? Error or you can just call it as bug. Sir, is there any difference, sir? Yes, there is a difference. That's the reason I'm not gonna what I can tell. Write the error or bug so that you'll be getting confused. I will tell you, don't worry, 100% I'm going to teach the difference between error, bug, all those things. It's a process of checking error in the software product. This is what the basic definition of testing. Next, please tell me, if the group of people are involved in doing testing activity, what we should call them? Very good. I can just tell like this: group of people involved in this phase is referred as what? Test engineers. Is referred as test engineers. The next heading, whatever I'm going to take, happens to be pretty simple. Please observe technical terminologies or different terminologies involved in testing. I can just tell terminologies involved in testing. Please tell me, if you are a test engineer or if you are a normal people, also no issues. I think related to testing, you would have heard so many technical terms, right? So many technical terms you might have listened, correct, right? Please tell me one by one. I want you people to tell one by one. Okay, first person is telling mistake. Okay, very good. Mistake. Afterwards, after mistake, guys, first what you told, mistake. Correct, very good, no issues. After mistake, error. Okay, very good. I'll just consider error. Okay, next, defect. Very good. Defect. I'll just tell defect, or it might be called as bug also. Next, failure. Very good. Failure. Next, is there any other technical term? Mistake, you told. Error, you told. Failure, you told. Bug or defect, you told. Next, any other technical term? Fault, or some of them might be calling it as flaw. Fault or flaw. Now tell me, anybody in the class who will take the chance and who will tell me what is the difference between mistake, fault or flaw, error, failure, defect or bug. With the example, you have to tell. It might be general example or it might be technical example. But initially, I'll be taking the general example. Later, when it comes to the actual code, all those things, I'll be showing you the technical example. But as of now, in order to make you to remember the diagram, I will take a general example. Will that be fine? I will take the general example. Okay, observe properly. Let me just do one thing. Let me just copy this. I would like to go back to whiteboard. In this whiteboard, I think already I have taken this first diagram. I think only one diagram is there. Next one, that's it. Nothing else. Please do observe. 5 technical terms is what I have mentioned. Now, please tell me. I think this coming Monday, something is there. What is that? This coming Monday, something is there. What is that? Okay, Valentine's Day. Assume that for Valentine's Day, Subbu and Anupama. I'll just tell Subbu and Anupama. They have planned to go for a trip. Subbu is very jovial person. Anupama is a traditional girl, and who is a very what I can tell, very much interested in gods, all those things. That's the reason what they planned for Valentine's Day. They have decided to go for one place. Sir, what is that place, sir? I can just tell the place name happens to be. Let me just do one thing. This is Subbu. This is Anupama. They have decided to go for Tirupati. I will just tell this happens to be Tirupati. Tirupati. Okay. Now please observe properly. Both of them are staying in Bangalore itself. Both of them are staying in Bangalore. I'll just tell this happens to be NGLORE. Both of them are staying in Bangalore. Now you should tell me from Bangalore. I don't know if you're aware of or not. From Bangalore, if you consider, don't you think from Bangalore highway? Assume that this happens to be the Bangalore highway. Uh, After the toll, at some point, see here, maybe they started the journey in one car. In one car, they started the journey by singing some song and all. By singing some song, Subbu and the son of Uma. Maybe they started going. That's the reason I'll just tell it like this. Okay, they approached one point. Where two options were there. But Subbu also don't know about the way to Tirupati. Anupama is not aware of the way to Tirupati. There are two ways. See here, there are two ways like this. Okay, now tell me junction. Okay, you can just call it as junction. In that junction, at that point of time, in both of their mobile, there is no charge, so that they cannot put on the map and they cannot go for which side, whether it is left or right. Okay, now what they will do, they will ask one person. This is Subbu. I'll just write this happens to be Subbu. This happens to be Subbu. Next, this happens to be Anupama. I'll just write this happens to be Anupama. Let me just write it as soon as possible without wasting your time. Okay, for Subbu, what I'll do, I'll just tell. Okay, this is Anupama. She's a girl, right? That says, and I'm writing some kind of diagram. Already I told you, right? I'm very weak in writing the diagram. Okay, now observe properly, guys. Don't you think they have to ask somebody to go for left or right? They have to ask somebody. That's the reason what they will do. There will be a bro standing there. There will be a bro. That means there will be one person who will be standing there. Subbu will approach, bro, which way to go for Tirupati? What this bro will tell? Ravi, they have started the journey in the morning. Morning only, bro is full out of his mind. That means some liquid is there inside, bro. Bro, what he will tell? Take right. That is what the bro will tell. By listening to the bro's word, they will take right. Maybe after, maybe if they started the journey in right, if they take right, don't you think they will reach Chennai? They will reach Chennai. Correct, right? Now tell me, maybe in middle of the journey, Anupama noticed Subbu. I think this is not a Tirupati road. This might be Chennai. Why? Because all the shops were written in Chennai literature. It was not written in what I can tell Telugu literature. Telugu means Andhra, right? Tirupati. It has written in Chennai. That means Tamil. That's the reason they stopped their car. Now tell me one by one. I will ask one by one. I'll ask. What is mistake? I will tell you. What is mistake? I will tell you. Please tell me who is the culprit for mistake. Let me tell me who is the culprit for mistake happened. As I want your answer, I'm gonna correlate the things into technical stuff. That's the reason I'm asking. Who is the culprit? Very good. Bro is the culprit. Now tell me, Subbu is a human, bro is also human. Correct, right? Subbu is also human, bro is also human. That means if somebody is asking what is mistake, your answer should be pretty simple. Mistake means what? Human interaction. Look at the diagram. Human interaction. Human interaction which leads human interaction which leads to incorrect result. Which leads to what? Incorrect result is called as mistake. Is called as what? Mistake. Human interaction which leads to incorrect result is called as what? Mistake. Now tell me how many of them understood by looking at the diagram? Human interaction which leads to incorrect result is called as what? Mistake. Guys, in reality also, because of humans, because of two developers, or because of developer test engineer, or because of senior developer, junior developer, or because of manager and developer, if it is leads to incorrect result, then it is called as mistake. Manager will tell, assume that your manager would have told something wrong, then he will tell, hey, sorry developer, it is my mistake, I guided you in a wrong way, that's the reason you have ended up in an incorrect result. That's what he will tell. Yes or no? So if there is any spelling mistake, please do correct me. No one I'm telling. Okay. Next what, sir? Please tell me where exactly the mistake occurred, where exactly the mistake started to occur. Don't you think from Bangalore till this junction they came correctly? How many of them will agree with my point? From Bangalore till this junction they came properly. Now tell me where mistake occurred, where this bro is standing, where this bro is standing, because of bro mistake happened. Where this bro is standing, right in the junction, don't you think the place, I'll just tell, this is what the exact place, this is what the exact place the mistake occurred, this is what the exact place the mistake occurred. For that, what they will call, if you ask me, the place where mistake occurred, I can just write like this: the place where mistake occurred, the place where mistake occurred, OCC, the place where mistake occurred is called as fault or flaw. Fault or flaw. Is that clear for everyone? The place where the mistake occurred is called as what? Fault or flaw. So next what, sir? The outcome. Guys, this is, they ended up in incorrect result. See here, they ended up in incorrect result. There is no doubt in that. They ended up in the incorrect result. Correct, right? And now tell me the outcome of fault. The outcome. This particular journey is there, right? The outcome of fault or flaw. Shall I write like this so that you'll understand? Maybe will you understand, right? I'll just write the technical term. That's it. This is mistake, guys. See here, because of Subbu and bro, mistake happened. This is F. F means what? Fault or flaw. Correct, right? Now I can just tell this happens to be mistake. This happens to be mistake. Uh, the outcome of flaw. The outcome of flaw. Wherever their journey went to Chennai, technically it is only called as error. So then please define error, sir. Error means simple. The outcome of fault. Fault occurred or flaw occurred. What is the outcome? Error. The outcome of fault or flaw. The outcome of fault or flaw is called as called as what? If you ask me, I can just tell it as like this here. The outcome of fault or flaw is called as error. Error. Is that clear for everyone? Guys, I want a response from your side. Everybody, read those three sentences once again in your mind for 1 minute and tell me. Read the definition, look at the diagram, and tell me whether you're able to understand or not. Okay, great. Sir, what is the next definition, sir? Now tell me the outcome of error. The outcome of error or the difference between expected output and actual output. Sir, what does that mean, sir? This is only failure I can tell. See here, this only failure is what I can tell. Guys, please tell me what is the expected output? What is the expected output? Expected output means very simple. Where they expected to go? Tirupati, right? But they ended up in Chennai. They ended up in Chennai. The difference between expected output and actual output, which leads to incorrect result, is called as what? Failure. Once again, I'm going to repeat here. I'll just tell the difference between the difference between expected output and actual output. The difference between expected output and actual output, which leads to incorrect result, is called as what? Very good. Failure. The difference between expected output and actual output is called as what? Failure. Now observe properly. The last technical term is what I have to explain. I'll just tell this happens to be error. I will tell error. For the last technical term, I cannot correlate for this particular diagram. Sir, why, sir? Why? Because developers will be involved in last definition. What is bug or defect? If you ask me, I can just tell like this. I want everyone to observe properly, guys. Anybody? Any idea what is bug or defect? Any idea? What is bug or defect? That's it. It is pretty simple. Developers while coding, if they commit they commit any mistake, if they commit any mistake in code, then it is referred as, then it is referred as defect. That's what they will call defect. Okay, that means they will tell to the senior developer, yes, there is some defect in my code, I'm just checking the defect. That is what the developers will use the terminology defect developer. Is that fine? That means developers while coding, if they commit any mistake in their code, then it's referred as what? Defect. So next what, sir? Test engineers. Test engineers while testing the code developed by developers. Just a minute, I'm not able to see the text. Just give me a minute. Okay. Test engineers while testing the code developed by developers. Test engineers while testing the code. If they identify any mistake, done by developer, 100% developers are bound to commit a mistake. So here, test engineers while testing the code, if they identify any mistake done by developers, then technically it is called as what? Bug. Then it is referred as, I can just tell, then it is referred as bug. Is that clear, guys? As a test engineers, if your relatives or if you're working in the company, don't you think you will be using this technical term? I'm identifying the bug developed by the developers. That's what you will tell. Now tell me, how many of them understood? All 5 definitions properly? Yes, sir. All the 5 definitions in the interview, if they're asking, easily we can tell, sir, using this diagram. Guys, please don't give this a diagram as the, that means don't tell this example in the interview. Please tell the technical example that I will teach in future. But as of now, are you able to understand the definitions? Okay, very good. Then great. Just do one thing. Just take the screenshot of this. I want everybody to take the screenshot. Okay, if you have taken the screenshot, let me just do one thing. Let me just go back to the notes. In this notes, what I will do, I will just paste it. Let me just cut it. Sorry, instead of cut paste, I think it would be better if I do copy paste. Copy this, paste it here. And what is mistake? Once again, I'm going to repeat. Observe properly. Human interaction which leads to incorrect result is called as what? Mistake. Next, second one. So what is second one, sir? Fault or flaw. What is fault or flaw? The place where mistake occurred is technically referred as what? Fault or flaw. That's why I have given the example Tirupati, Chennai. I know it makes you laugh at that point of time, but trust me, guys, after 2 years also, you'll remember the example. Yes, Sandesh sir would have given the Tirupati, Chennai example for explaining technical terminologies that are involved in testing. That is what you will remember. I know that. Next, error. What is error? The outcome of fault or flaw is technically called as error. Next, failure. What is failure? The difference between expected output and actual output. They were supposed to go for Tirupati, that is expected output. What they happened? They ended up in Chennai. That's what there is a difference, right? There is a lot of difference. That is only called as what? Failure. At last, defect or bug is same. Guys, trust me, defect or bug is same. So then why 2 different names, sir? From the developer perspective, what? See here, I can just tell defect or bug is same. From developer, you will tell defect in whatever the code that you have written, if you find any mistake. And if the test engineers finds any mistake, then it should be called as what? Bug. Is that clear for everyone? Guys, please do respond. Is that clear for everyone? Okay, if it is clear, let me just do one thing. Let me just go forward and let me just teach you the next one that happens to be installation phase. Installation. Now what I'll do, I'll just do one thing. Let me just consider the next phase that happens to be installation and maintenance. 6 and 7 is what I'm going to teach. Okay, observe properly. I'll just consider this happens to be number 6 and number 7. Here I'll just tell like this. Okay, great. Now when it comes to installation, please tell me. I'll just write it like this. It is the process. It is the process of installing. It is a process of installing the developed and tested software. The developed and tested software, developed and tested software into client's environment, client's environment, client's environment. Sir, what does that mean, sir? We're not able to understand anything, sir. 100% will understand if I give the example, don't worry. Next, installation will be done. I can just tell installation will be done, installation will be done, will be done by installation will be done by installation engineers, installation engineers, installation engineers. Next, observe properly, guys. I'll be writing the definition for maintenance also. I'll be writing the definition for maintenance also. I will copy this, I will paste it. It's a process of maintaining, is a process of maintaining the developed and tested and developed comma tested and installed software, developed comma tested and installed softwares here, and installed software, installed software. It's a process of maintaining the developed, tested and installed software into client's environment, into client's environment by a set of people, by a set of people called as maintenance engineer, called as maintenance engineers, maintenance engineers. Is that fine? And I can just tell like this, maintenance will be done, maintenance will be done by maintenance engineers, maintenance engineers. Sir, please try to explain properly, sir. 100%. Let me just take the example of what I can tell. Okay, some Karnataka bank will approach Infosys company or some other company to develop the software. Correct, right? To develop the software, they'll approach. Assume that Kotak Mahindra Bank, Kotak Mahindra or Karnataka will approach Infosys company, and Infosys also will develop. They will test. They will deliver the software to the customer. Don't you think from the company side, from the company, the installation engineers from the company, installation engineers should go to the or should approach the Kotak Mahindra Bank people, and they have to explain how to use that software. That means like this you have to log in, like this you have to log out, like this you have to do the transformation, that is a transaction, like this you have to withdraw the amount, like this you have to transfer the amount, and like this you have to apply for personal loan. That means this way, because in future Kotak Mahindra Bank should tell to their customers like how their application or website will work. For that, don't you think first of all this company people should guide this particular Kotak Mahindra Bank like how their application will work, and they have to install those particular software in the machines of Kotak Mahindra Bank. In the machines means laptop, desktop, or whatever it may be. This is only called as what? Installation phase. This is only called as what? Installation phase. For that, a separate category of people will be there called as installation engineers. Sometimes developer will only be acting as installation engineer. Why? Because developer is aware of the complete end-to-end code. That is the reason test engineers will not pitch in as installation engineers. Many of the time, junior developer who joined the company by understanding the code written by senior developer, they will be acting as installation engineers for a couple of months. So next, what is the maintenance, sir? Guys, maintenance means very simple, guys. That's it here. Assume that they have delivered the application or website for Kotak Mahindra. Don't you think Kotak Mahindra, after using the application after 1 month or after 2 months, they might come up with the new changes? That means they might tell, okay, please don't have this feature. Please update this feature. Please delete this feature. Like this, they will be telling all the things. Yes or no? I can just tell like this. See here. In this phase, in maintenance phase, in maintenance phase, below activities will be taken care, Sir, which are those activities, sir? One by one I'm going to write. First one, changes to existing software, changes to existing software or product will be implemented. If the customer is coming and asking, please do change some small thing or very minute thing, then 100% as a maintenance engineer, they have to do that. Second one, or by taking the help of developer, they have to do that. Next, there might be so many still bugs, even though after testing the software, even though after testing thoroughly by doing automation testing, 100% there might be some 1 or 2 mistake. Okay, bugs identified directly by the customers of Kotak Mahindra. Here, guys, don't you think sometimes we will identify the bugs? WhatsApp also we might identify the bugs. In Instagram also we can identify the bug. In Facebook also we can identify the bug. Correct, right? Those bugs identified, bugs identified by end customer, by end user, or I can just say customer who is using who is using the software, will be will be reported will be reported will be reported to developers. Why? Because they cannot develop the software. That's the reason. Maintenance engineer, what they will tell developer, there is still there is a bug identified by the customer or an end user who is using the software for from 2 months. This is what the bug. You try to develop, later try to test by test engineers, again release to the market using updated version. I don't know whether people will observe or not. For every 6 months, WhatsApp will provide updated WhatsApp. Yes or no? 3.1, 3.2. Simply, I'm just telling the number. I don't know the number. 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. Like this, WhatsApp or Facebook will keep on updating. For what reason they will update? Why? Because there might be several changes in the existing software, and there might be several bugs or errors reported by the end users or the customer who is using the software. Guys, I don't know whether you have observed or not. In Play Store or in WhatsApp only, there is an option called as report. Will you agree with my point? Yes or no? There is an option called as report or provide the feedback. If you provide the report option, and if you provide something, and if you provide the feedback, 200%, guys, trust me, they will see each and every comment, each and every feedback, each and every report. There will be a separate category of people just to see the messages sent by customer to WhatsApp. Why? Because customer satisfaction is very important. Correct, right? One customer, for example, if he is not able to send some 5 MB file, he will report, I'm not able to send 5 MB file. Maybe Instagram is providing to send 5 MB file. In the next release itself, they will make sure that WhatsApp will allow 25 MB file to send. Like this, they will do that. Why? Because competition is very important. But right now, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram is by only one person. He has to compete among himself. That's it. That's it. Now tell me, how many of them understood? How many of them understood all 7 phases of waterfall model? Yes, sir, I understood, sir. How many of them? Please do respond. Sir, is there any duration for maintenance or support? When it comes to service-based company, 100% every year, as a Kotak Mahindra, they have to pay some XYZ amount for Infosys to do installation and to provide maintenance. Every year they have to pay. Are you getting, guys? Plus, if you take up a study online application, and if you just take up the study online application, whatever I have developed, fine. Study online application or website, fine. I have to pay some XYZ amount for the people who has provided some storage space for me, fine, to upload the video. And if there is any changes, I have tied up with my friend, and at that point of time, if there is any changes, if I'm not able to do that, and if I'm not free, I'll just tell him to do the changes. At that point of time, 100% I have to give the amount for him, because ultimately nothing comes for free. Correct, right? He's giving maintenance for my software. Next year he will give, I have to pay some XYZ amount. After that also he'll provide some support, I have to pay some amount. Are you getting my point? Until this particular Kotak Mahindra bank tells, I don't want your installation, sorry, I don't want your maintenance support, then you can just what I can tell, delete the contract, all those things, by paying some XYZ amount for this Infosys company. That's it, guys. They will be having an agreement minimum around 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, like this. They'll be having the agreement. Is that fine? Okay, great. Now please tell me the advantages of waterfall model. Advantage of waterfall model. If there is an advantage, don't you think 100% there should be disadvantage? 100% there should be disadvantages. Disadvantages of same waterfall model. Waterfall model. Could you people please tell me what is the disadvantage of waterfall model? First tell me the advantage. Later we will discuss the disadvantage. One by one you should tell. Don't you think if you are working under waterfall model, don't you think it's very simple and easy to understand? Yes or no? Guys, when it comes to waterfall model, if you are developing or testing software under waterfall model, assume that you are following the waterfall model approach, software development life cycle. At that point of time, it is very simple and easy to understand. Simple and easy to understand. Easy to understand this approach or this style of developing the software. Correct, right? Next, second one, please do observe. I can just tell in this model, phases are processed. Phases are processed. Phases are processed. Phases are processed and completed. 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 Phases are processed and completed. One at the one at a time. One at a time. So phases. So phases do not overlap. Do not overlap. Is that fine? Next point. Next point. I can just tell like this. Each phase are well documented. That means each and every phase. I think you have seen 7 phases, are right? Each phases will be properly documented. Will be properly documented. Properly documented. And next, sir, is there any advantage, sir? You tell me the advantage. We will see. Yes, please do let me know. Any other advantage? I want you people to tell the advantage. Okay, linear process, systematic process, systematic approach. Very good. I can just tell it's a traditional approach. It's a traditional approach to develop the software. To develop the software. To develop the software. One more advantage as well as disadvantage is there. Same point will become disadvantage. Well, or I can just tell like this. Works well for small project. Works well for small project. That's it. Guys, if you're using, nobody will be using waterfall model to develop the medium as well as a very big software application. That means it works only well for smaller projects where requirement where requirements are completely requirements are completely provided by the customer. Completely provided by customer. And sometimes the customer will keep on adding the requirement based upon his mindset. For that kind of project will not work. If the customer would have given the complete requirement in a single shot at the initial stage, then you can, and that too, if it is a smaller project, you can just go for waterfall model. Sir, is there any disadvantage, sir? One by one, I'm going to tell. Later, I will write. It is not suitable for medium and large project. I can just tell like this. It's suitable. It's suitable only for smaller project. It's suitable only for smaller projects. We cannot use that for what? Large project or medium size project. Second one, which is very important point, guys. Backtracking is not possible. Backtracking is not possible. That means you can do that. It's a very tedious job. Backtracking is not possible. Sir, what is backtracking, sir? I know many of them will be having this doubt. Guys, backtracking is very simple. See here, as a test engineer, assume that as a test engineer, if you want, you can just take the picture of this. As a test engineer, you might have tested the software completely and you have given for installation. You have given installation is yet to happen. At that point of time, this particular design people will come. Hey, sorry, there is some mistake in design. Don't you think again you cannot go do the steps properly? Backtracking, you cannot do that. Correct, right? Assume that you have tested the software completely. Okay, and you have given for installation. Then if the developer is telling, no, there is some mistake in the code. There is some new thing that I have to do. At that point of time, again, developer should write the code. Again, test engineer should test the software. Are you getting my point? Backtracking is impossible. We can do that, but it is a very lengthy process. It's a very lengthy process. Next, observe properly. That's the reason I can just tell backtracking is not possible. So next, is there any disadvantage? Sir, 100% there is a disadvantage. Don't you think? In this particular waterfall model approach, requirements will be freezed until the last phase. Will you agree with my point? Requirement will be freezed. Freeze means what? In between, you cannot change the requirement. Assume that customer cannot come and tell. Assume that developer is developing the code. Customer cannot tell and come. See, requirement I will be adding. Requirement I will be deleting. No, customer cannot tell that. Once the requirement is given, that's it, done and dusted by the customer. Until he receives the software, he should not be telling any sort of requirement, addition, deletion, and all. Why? Because already the SDLC started for particular software using waterfall model. That's the reason requirement will be freezed at the initial stage, so that till the end you cannot change the requirement. Now tell me how many of them are able to understand both advantage and disadvantage. And one more disadvantage is there, sir. What is the disadvantage, sir? It's a time consuming process. It's a time consuming. It's a time consuming. I know many of them will ask, sir, how come it is time consuming, sir? You tell me. You tell me. Until the developer develops the code, test engineers should dance in the company. Why? Because he'll not be having any sort of work. Correct, right? He should do Bharatanatyam and all. Why? Because there is no work for test engineer. There is no work for installation. There is no work for maintenance. Assume that if the business analyst is collecting the requirement or feasibility study is going on, developers, design people, all those things should sit idle. That's the reason it's a time consuming. And I can just tell like this. Work will not be divided properly. Work will not be divided properly at the initial stage. At the initial stage. Work will not be divided properly at the initial stage. When it comes to one phase, work will be divided properly. Developers completely develop. Till then, test engineers should wait. Afterwards, if the testing is going on, developers will do Bharatanatyam and all. Why? Because they are having free time. Correct, right? That's the reason work will not be divided properly at the initial stage or at this phase. I can just tell work will not be divided properly. That's what I can tell. And next, please tell me in the interview if they're asking, when to go for waterfall model. When to go for waterfall model. If this is the question that has been asked in the interview, your answer should be very simple. Whenever the requirements are completely aware, whenever the requirements are completely known, then you should go for what? Waterfall model. Second point, whenever the project is small, whenever it's a smaller project, then if you can directly go for what? Waterfall model. Whenever it's a smaller project. Third one, whenever there is no additional changes told by customer or client, in between SDLC. In between SDLC means what? In between the software development life cycle. That means if software is developing, right? In between, if there is no additional changes told by the customer or client, then this is the best approach. Is that fine? That means when to go for waterfall model. Now tell me how many of them are able to understand. And one note point is what I will give. One note point. Sir, what is a note point, sir? Could you people tell me what is one more name for waterfall model? Just now I have told. I think in the diagram I have told. Waterfall model is also called as what? Data driven model. Data driven model. Is that fine? Who invented the waterfall model? I can just tell waterfall model is invented by could you people tell me the name if you remember? I know you'll not remember. Why? Because it's very difficult to remember the other country people name. I can just tell Winston W. Royce. You just remember Rolls Royce, so easily you can just tell Winston W. Royce. Is that fine? Yes, please do respond. Is that clear for everyone? Okay, now what I'll do, I'll just cut it and I'll just paste it. Let me just guys, I think from coding is what I have thought in today's session, right? From coding I have thought. After writing all these things, maybe in between testing you can just write. See here, in between testing you can just write the diagram. I think diagram number 2 you can just write it in between testing. But please make sure that diagram number one you will write at the end. Diagram number 1 you will write at the end. Is that clear for everyone? Guys, please do respond. Diagram number 1 you will write at the last. Is that clear? Yes or no? Okay, great. Totally how many diagrams are there? I don't remember. 1, 2, that's it. 1, 2 diagram. That's great. Let me just come back to the notes. Is there any doubt for anyone in the waterfall model? I hope I have given the complete clarity about waterfall model. Guys, in the interview, if they're asking, you have to explain waterfall model properly for 20 minutes. I know I have taken more than 1.5 hours, but you should explain for 20 minutes and you should tell them the advantages You should tell them the disadvantages. You only should tell them when to go for waterfall model. Better if you tell the name of the person invented waterfall model, and better you just tell the one more name for waterfall model. Now you tell me, if a person is telling all these things, don't you think if you are the CEO or if you are the interviewer, don't you think you will select that person? Yes or no? If you are the person who is taking the interview, if the person is telling all these things, don't you think you'll select the person? 200% you have to select. There is no choice for that. Why? Because he has told all the answers. Correct, right? That's the reason. Please learn properly and explain properly in the interview. And now tell me, how many of them understood everything in today's session? If it is yes, please do respond by saying yes. Yeah, 100%. I'll be giving you the examples. Real-time examples is what I will give. But right now, if I try to give the example, you cannot correlate. As after teaching waterfall, spiral, prototype, V and V, agile, I will be giving the examples of softwares that are developed using what? Waterfall, spiral, prototype. Later I will give. Will that be fine? Yes, right now if I give you, I know what will happen. While doing spiral, you will think, why this software is developed using waterfall? Why? Because spiral is very good model. Why they have not used spiral? Like this, you'll be having so many questions. At last, after teaching all 5 models, at last, if I give you the example, you will only tell, yes, sir, the software should have been developed using waterfall model only, sir. The software should have been developed using prototype only, sir. The software should be developed using agile, sir. You will tell the answer. Will that be fine? Okay, great. I'll just do one thing. I'll just save this file. Let me just click on file, save all. Let me just come back here. I'll just tell this happens to be day 4. I will tell day 4.txt. Save. Okay. Cancel. Why it is telling like this? Just give me a minute. Today I'm not going to give. I'm not going to give the attendance link. Why? Because already I have taken the attendance. You don't worry about that. I have just taken the screenshot. That's why I'm not able to save. It's okay. Later I'll just save that. Sir, share the link now itself. Yeah, sure. Just give me a minute. In the chat box only I'll share. Software testing, my drive, software testing, right click, get link. Afterwards, copy the link. Okay, come back. Don't respond in the chat box because I'll be sending you the link. Okay. Click on that link, download that link. That means download the particular notes and diagrams. Please make sure that you'll be saving that link. That means in your laptop, bookmark that, or in your mobile phone, save that link. Is that fine? Okay, today also by the end of the class, I'll be providing the recorded content, and I hope I have told the admission process started. Those who want to get admitted as soon as possible, you can just do that. If not, tomorrow will be the last demo class, but because tomorrow happens to be Friday, I have started this class on Monday. Tomorrow will be the last demo class where I'll be teaching automation testing. Sir, what, sir? Suddenly from manual testing to automation testing? Yes, because listen properly. I may have to give the clarity for you people how I'm going to teach automation testing. I think the teaching style would remain same, but let me just give one demo for automation testing. Will that be fine? Tomorrow I'm not going to teach manual testing, guys. Tomorrow I'll be giving automation testing. Afterwards, from coming Monday, that means after Saturday, Sunday, you can do the admission, and from coming Monday, I'll be starting off with manual testing spiral model. Is that fine? Guys, please do respond. Is that fine for everyone? Okay, thank you so much. And one more thing, you tell me if you are okay, then only I'll do that. From coming Monday, will that be fine if I start the class at 7:30? Yes or no? That's it. If a single person who admitted, and that means who got their admission, if they're telling no, I'll not take the class. Guys, why 7:30? I'll tell you. Many of the people, they might be student or they might be working professional. Their office time, that means their office timings will start from 9:30 or 9:15 or 9 o'clock. I think soon after the class, I think they should also get some 15 minutes or half an hour of break. Simply just for the sake of who will get up at 7:30. If you're telling start the class at 8 o'clock, no, half an hour priorly if I'm starting. If there is a genuine reason, yes sir, maybe I have work till 8 o'clock, sir. Maybe 100% I can give a permission. Okay, but simply no. AM. Hey, who will take in the PM? It's a morning batch. I'll not be taking the class in 7:30 p.m. In 7:30 p.m. I do have some other batches. Instead of 8 a.m., 8 a.m. in the morning, is that fine if I start the class at 7:30 a.m. in the morning, half an hour prior? Yes or no? If it is no, please do let me know in the what I can tell. WhatsApp. Okay. This Monday I'll start at 8 o'clock itself. Why? Because this Monday, Tuesday, I'll start from 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock. We'll see from Wednesday. Why? Because many of them will be getting their admission done. From Wednesday, we will see that. Yes, now I'm telling 1.5 hour of class is what I'll take. 7:30 to 9 o'clock. A solid 1.5 hour. In between, I'll not be giving the time for you to write the notes and write the diagrams and all. You have to do that based upon your own interest. Why? Because you have paid some amount and you want to become an engineer in your life. That's the reason. Okay, is that clear? Fine, then tomorrow we'll meet exactly at 8 o'clock morning, 8 o'clock morning. Same credentials, same username, same password. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye. If you have any queries, please do call me. I hope everybody are having my WhatsApp number. Okay, thank you so much. Bye.